on business.
Yo, we on business. Yo, we out here hitting that grind. Podcast vibes, letting loose, unwind. Nick's on the mic, yeah, he flexing with pride. Meeting dope souls, taking you on the
Welcome to
ride.
Beyond Business. Thanks for joining me today. Also joining me today is a very interesting fella that I've had the privilege of knowing for probably the 15, 20 years now. I've seen him, the growth that's happened in his life as an entrepreneur. And he accepted the invite to come let us all hear a little bit about his story, and I'll see if I can't pick his brain a little bit. But welcome everybody, Craig Woody Wilson. Here we go. How you doing, brother?
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, this is awesome. So, what is your day to day? Do you have a normal day to day, or is it every?
It comes and goes. Kind of depends if I'm developing a new business like that. That's really the phase I enjoy, is the coming up with the idea, building it out, construction,
okay,
and getting it ready. And then after that, just let it kind of go. So if I'm in that phase, my days might be 10 and 12-hour days.
How often is that a phase you're in, or is it like, no,
Well,
the goal is to kind of constantly stay in that phase?
Well, it was for a while because I wanted to grow, but now I'm kind of trying to get out of that phase. I mean, in the last year, I've probably spent, I've had to do that 3 times, in that kind of construction phase, building phase, and
now you're good at it.
now I enjoy it. I really do. I enjoy it. So that's kind of where I get myself in trouble. I'm like, I don't need any more businesses, but it's like, then when I start sitting there not doing nothing, because now everything's so easy once you get it up and running. If you got good managers,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to chase down all this stuff every day. Like, I might have to do some.
So let's
Some
touch on
filing
that.
or some.
Before we were rolling, we were talking about the Facebook post that you had put out there that was almost just like honestly, it's rare to see, because most people, for whatever reason, just keep stuff in their pocket, and you know what I mean? Rather than saying, let's help each other. There's a lot of people who aren't in that mindset. I think that's a huge, not only for you to be willing to help people, but for you to say, hey, if you're out there thinking about doing it, I've done it. Let me help you do it. You know, I mean, that's huge.
I felt like with that, I enjoy that development phase.
Yeah.
So if I can help others,
Yeah.
then I ain't got to do it anymore with my businesses. I'd rather just go help others now. And
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, I'm kind of at my limit. I'm trying to get them kind of perfect, finished off, and then I'm just going to let them maintain for a while.
Yeah.
So
Let's name the 3 that you've been working on most recently.
Well, probably go back 12 months would have been the second 4.9.
Okay.
So the new construction with that lasted, the summer and then the fall of 23. So not that it was a ton of work on our part, but
Right.
yet, there's still questions to be answered. There's a lot of different things you got to look at.
It was kind of built.
Built brand new for us. So I mean,
I'd say there's probably some questions to ask.
and you don't really think about everything when you're going into a new building. You're like, oh yeah, let's do it. And then you get in there and you're, the coolers and the draft system.
Every
and the
cabinet
kitchen
has to have a knob.
Oh yeah. You're ordering cabinets, shelving.
Yeah.
You just don't think about all that. So then it starts taking up all your time.
So what would be the first venture you had in doing this? Because I know a couple of the businesses you acquired, you purchased, but to actually now you're from scratch. I mean, 4.9, the reputation, is amazing.
Yeah.
And then the new spot.
Well, if you go back, it kind of started. I mean, the ones I got, like Woodies, was the cornerstone. It was already up and running. Cleaned up a couple things, changed some stuff. It's good to go. Sliders, kind of the same thing. Took over, made some changes. It's running. It's doing its own thing. Those are pretty easy. Then I did a gaming parlor out by St. Teresa,
You just washed over a
and
lot
it was,
that you did that you're not capable.
and it, yeah,
We just mopped the floors.
yeah.
No, you
But
made
like,
them.
you know, the
made 'em
gaming
place.
parlors,
Yeah.
you know, you build the walls, you put a ceiling in, the lights, you pick the flooring out, you build the bar, you know.
Oh, so you actually have just gaming lounges too?
Yeah, yeah. I have
Oh.
passed the buck over by St. Teresa.
Okay, yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
So compared to like the Woodies or the Sliders that were
They were
already
theirs.
up and running, you know,
Yeah.
that's more legal stuff, just signing documents,
Yeah.
you know, transferring some liquor licenses, transferring ownership, stuff like that.
Which that seems like that would be you at least hear or get the feel that that stuff is what is made difficult. Or I guess if you haven't done it, maybe
there's up and down times.
seems like a turn off.
Back 10 years ago, 12 years ago, it wasn't as bad. There was a period here where it's been a little tougher dealing with the state and the city, but currently I think it's getting better on the business side of stuff.
Okay.
For the paperwork side of it
Yeah.
and the legal side of it. You know, but you know, we went from the gaming parlor and I did some other stuff and learned some stuff there, and then came back and we did the 4-9, the first 4-9 kind of took off, and it was pretty much there, and you know, but we had to
That's what I was going to
throw
ask.
some paint on the walls.
Well,
And
was it
just a little house.
Oh, it was just a pre-existing structure.
Yeah, but it had a little kitchen in there, and they
Yeah.
did you know, some meals,
Okay.
some health meals and stuff like that. So it
Okay.
wasn't too bad. And so then I kind of coasted for a little while, and then we got into
Now, when you say we, do you have the same partner on everything? Or
No,
do you have
not
Do you
everything.
even have partners on everything?
I have, so Woodies is just mine. Sliders, I have a partner. The gaming parlor is mine.
Yeah.
Then where we're at 4-9, I have a full partner, 50-50 partner there.
Yeah.
The meat shop is a partner. Notorious Meats and the food truck.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So me and Zach have
so
that.
it's all okay.
And then I have I don't even know where I'm at after that.
4-9 food
4-9.
truck. What about Bevo?
Oh,
Is that-
Bevo's. I actually have 3 other partners with that.
I haven't been there, but I've heard
that was kind of just
Off
you
the-
know, like I said, we got the second 4-9 redone. It opened about a year ago. I think we were December 15 or so, and it's just been nuts since then. One of the other businesses I do is like ground clearing and stuff. I have a track machine and timber head, and so I would go do some of that work just in my downtime throughout the week when I was bored. Kind of my COVID business that
Yeah.
can't be affected by COVID.
Did you start it during COVID?
Well, that's where the idea of it came. Yeah, I mean, pretty much I went out and got everything. It was like, you know, because here I am with bars and restaurants sitting here not doing nothing.
Oh, dude.
You know, so I'm
Matter
just
of fact, congratulations on surviving that.
it was tough. It was tough. You know, first couple of weeks you're like, oh, this is awesome. I can get all this stuff done that you can't get done while you're
And
open. And
then you go, wait, I did make deposits. What about
Yeah.
that?
yeah, you know, and then every week, you know, the insurance didn't stop. You know, the power bills didn't stop.
that
The
had to be
licenses.
scary.
I mean, you just keep watching that account go down, and you're trying to do different things. And you know, the first 4 or 6 weeks were okay, but then after that, you're like, oh, okay, it's time to get back
Yeah.
open.
Well,
Like,
and anything that, I mean, you even see, you know, you do some traveling. You guys might have even done it, you know, where you could go, you know, sit in a bubble igloo somewhere, you know, for
Mhm.
dinner at different spots. But any idea you have to be able to get people in and maintain social distancing, it costs to make that
Yeah.
idea happen.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, it's still a crapshoot.
yeah, I mean, we bought a couple of those large, like 20 by 40 outdoor tents.
Yeah.
You know, because when they
Perfect.
reopened that first time after COVID, it was like, oh, you can hang out in a outside area if there's so many people around. So now I'm spending thousands of dollars on these outdoor tents.
And there was never a tent checker that came by.
So
They were everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I dealt with them a couple times. You know,
Yeah.
they'd come in and be like, "Oh, we heard you had a large crowd and nobody was social gathering." I'm like, "Look, I haven't, man. We can pull up the cameras and look. Like,
Yeah, I can't.
I'm
not
doing my
also
part, man.
herding the flocks
I
here.
do not want this to keep spreading. I want it to be over more than anybody else. So,
Yeah, I think that was just a.
so it
I
was
still
tough.
don't know what that was about, honestly. But other than making sure that we knew we had to do what they say.
Yeah. But that business was created during COVID as something that I would try to be COVID proof. And that's kind of how I got into Bevo's, because went out there to do some groundwork and help out the guy that owned all the land. And there was a little building there. He's like, "Hey, the back door's unlocked. Go in there, check it out, walk through there, and tell me what you would do with it." So I walked through and I was like, "Oh man, it's kind of a neat little building." Next morning, I sent him a message. It was like, I think you should put a dive bar in there with some good food." And he didn't respond to me for a couple hours. And a couple hours later, she's like, "Can you do lunch?"
Oh,
So, then it turned into
Let's
that.
do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, we kind of knocked that out late spring and over the summer and opened it Labor Day.
Right.
And then right now I'm working on, I got the crowbar on November 1st. I took that over. Been kind of bouncing around.
Yeah.
So,
And it seems like nothing's ever for sale.
I mean, you'd be surprised how many places are for sale.
No, I mean, like stuff that you decide to get involved in, you go in with the mindset of saying, I'm getting it because I think I can make it work. And then that's just going to be part of what I got.
Yep. I'm trying to get, kind of several different avenues of passive income at each location, just so you don't try to make a bunch of money at one place. I'm just trying to make, enough at a lot of little places.
Yeah.
So it kind of gets a little easier when you can look at it like that instead of trying to.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions. Is like, man, even with, a great menu and great returning customers and great new customers, it's still like, man, to make great money, you feel like how big of a freaking restaurant do you have to have?
Yeah.
Or it's like, no, you just don't.
It's getting tougher.
You need to have another restaurant.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Food is a ridiculous
businesses,
price.
You look at a place like Sliders, like we're not getting the customer count like we were before COVID. Our sales are probably up a little bit, but that's because of the cost of materials, the cost of labor. I mean, all that's gone through the roof. So, my sales are a little higher if I look back 4 or 5 years, but my customer count is definitely down. Like people aren't coming out for the live music quite as much. And
then you'd think, once the floodgates open, everyone would get back down. But there was like a whole nother generation became adults in that, or, I mean, I say adults like 21, whatever. But, there were kids.
People don't go to the bars and party like our generation did.
No.
20, 25 years ago, I mean, we didn't have phones. We didn't have all the cell phones.
Yeah.
We didn't have the internet. We didn't have all this stuff like we do today.
Yeah.
I feel like we went to these different bars, clubs, restaurants.
That's how you saw people.
That's how you saw people.
Oh, good point.
So,
I mean, I'm sure you have to. Obviously, you got two things right there. So you're with it. I mean, you got to ride it. It's social media, everything. Yeah. I don't look at it like it's terrible. I think you can let it really corrupt your child. You know what I mean? Thankfully, my son's just got in high school, and his mom is a phone police. You know, so he already knows what time it is. So, but if you don't have that, man, I think that's the danger. There's too much. No more curiosity as a kid is tough. But they don't know not having answers. I mean, we were the family in my neighborhood that got tricked into getting a set of encyclopedias one year. So it was like any kids in the neighborhood had a book report due or whatever. They come over, holler at my mom. She's going to check out this.
Nice.
You're doing Martin Luther King. Here's the M.
Yep.
You bring it back.
Bring it back.
Yeah. But now it's like it's impossible. I mean, I can drive in the car by myself and ask my phone shit.
Oh, yeah.
And now ChatGPT just changed the game.
Yeah. That AI is insane. I've been trying to read it, and it's changing faster than you can read up on it. I mean, which is
sometime whenever you're driving, ask it about one of your places. and
Yeah.
it's going to tell you, you're going to be like, shit, I couldn't have wrote that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it'll answer that quick. It'll tell you where it's at, probably great things about you, great reviews, and you're going, well, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it's good.
You know,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's insane to where it's like, huh. Yeah, I guess if you have access to everything that anyone's ever posted,
Yeah, every piece of
and
information.
there's
It's
no thought.
crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of scary. I know, and I wasn't bullshitting. I'm like, I'll sell that motorcycle and get a robot next year, no questions asked.
Yep.
I mean, have you seen these things?
Oh yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
crazy.
mean, yeah, I got a lot of shit I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, put this high vis shirt on.
Walk up that tower.
Yeah, get up there. Yeah, it's not. It's a machine. I don't have to
Oh,
pay
yeah.
it. No, but it is.
It's
I mean, it's
scary.
scary. It is scary
Yeah.
as shit. Do you dive into, like? Do you listen to like Elon Musk, or do you have anybody that you know, anybody? I mean,
Not really right now. I really don't. You
Right.
know, I felt like these last couple years, just with everything coming
yeah.
out and going on, it's just,
What a shit show.
yeah, my wife and I, we kind of have just started to block a lot of it out and just,
Yeah.
we try to not get too crazy on social media. And I mean, I won't barely even turn we'll watch movies and some other shows and stuff, but we
don't wanna pick a side with
leave
what
the
channel
news
to
off,
watch, right?
I'm always kind of a big advocate on, like, hey, we ain't talking about this at the bars or restaurants, or, you
Right.
don't talk about politics, don't talk about religion, don't talk about sex. It's just
Let's keep it
everybody's
kosher.
got opinions, everybody's got what they think's best. Like, everybody gets riled up when you start talking about all
and
those
your
topics.
staff kind of they
know.
they get the
Yep.
well, and I'm sure most of them are like, good call.
They don't want to deal with it
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
I mean, that's how any problem ever starts, is people want to start arguing about
Stupid.
something stupid, and both sides are probably at fault in some of that anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, quit trying to
Yeah.
pick one that's less at fault, I guess I could say. So
I don't news it up much myself, but again, I was just talking about my son. He's a freshman in St. T, and he's in I don't even know what class it is. I want to call it, like it used to be, like current events was like,
Yeah.
whenever, but and of course, they got 65-inch screens in every room, and so they're watching parts of.
Yeah.
And so he'll ask me about, hey, did you hear about what? And I'm like, dude, I don't know anything, but what channel were you guys watching?
yeah.
I'm just curious, and just to
Yeah.
hear.
Oh yeah.
And so does this and he's like, no, we got 2 teachers that watch them. I'm like, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Even that's crazy,
Yeah.
because there's no such thing as, it's okay to not watch the news because you can't get it anyway.
Yeah.
Dr. Phil was going to start and I think he might have tried and failed, but he was going to start news based on just that premise of going, stop trying to sway people and just tell us what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some
There's
people
no money
just,
in that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's no money in it.
Yeah, it's insane.
And that's even part of it with the, my employees. They've got their opinions on stuff, and we might be different. So I don't want to cause any tension between my staff and customers, or my staff and
Yeah.
myself, or all of that. I mean,
Right. It's a bold move
everybody's
to
got-
MAGA your restaurant
yeah.
When-
Oh God, that'd be a nightmare.
when the other half of the population is
Yeah,
like, well, we were going to eat there.
yeah, you could never. I mean,
you had 'em do
Decatur
it?
ain't big enough
No.
to, you can't have a niche building or business. I mean, we're just not that big. I couldn't come out tomorrow and say, oh, you know what? I want this classy little jazz club downtown. Would I love to do that? Absolutely.
But
You're not gonna-
you would just have it.
You would just have it. It's going to cost you money, because you're not going to get, the customer base to cycle in like you need. You're not going to get the entertainment to cycle in like you need. I mean, you're just.
Okay, so you're the perfect person to answer this then. Why? I mean, Champaign, Bloomington, even Springfield, we have the same population, of numbers, other than couple college towns, I guess. The dueling piano bar. Well, if you put one in Decatur, it would seem like you could get Springfield, Bloomington, Champaign, everyone, but it's not how it works. And
I don't think we unfortunately don't get a ton of travel from those three cities like we should.
Huh.
I think a lot of people from Decatur go to those cities.
yeah,
So, I kind of talked about the jazz club. Like I always tell people always are like, well, if I opened a bar, here's what I would do. And I'll tell them, I'll be like, oh, you're going to fail. Because it ain't about what you want. You got to make a bunch of different people happy all at the same time.
yeah.
So you can't
yeah.
focus on one style of music. You can't focus on,
Yeah.
maybe just sports or just whatever. You got to make everybody happy at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
Well, so that I think I'm buddies with Rodney Walker, and so that's what I'm like. He's got a different night for everything. He goes,
yeah.
I'm trying.
Yep.
If you want to open mic, give me a couple days. If you want to, Latin dance, but again, we don't have it's not like the place is packed of Latin dancers on that night. It's just, you can go do your thing, which I dig. I mean,
you got to get creative with
I
it.
like the ideas of the same people who you say, yeah, that won't work, because those clubs in your mind, if they did work, would be freaking amazing.
They would be.
To have a line dance club or
but, each one of those different places would be awesome. It'd be great to have.
Go to Bourbon Street. They got them.
Or go up to Chicago if you want this one, or go to Nashville if you want this one. Like,
yeah.
It
sounds good.
And all those cities too are a little more, I don't know, destination driven.
People go there to get away.
Yeah. So I mean it.
Oh yeah, and I wasn't saying that there was any part of me that thought people were going, what we should do tonight? Let's go to Decatur. And I mean,
if you could just get a couple more, not even big factories, small something in this community to bring some of the population back. I mean,
yeah.
If I could get a 5% boost,
that'd be huge.
If the population goes up 5%, I would assume my customer base is going to go up 5%. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, it is.
And if everybody could get that in that town, I mean, it just helps the cycle of money so much better.
When I met you, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you were like Caterpillar?
I was at the railroad.
I
started at Norfolk Southern.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So did you do anything but work before did you just decide, you know what? Because you kind of, it seemed like, went from working a lot to then you were just all in and you owned some shit.
Yeah, I mean, kind of going back, 30 years, my family was kind of, my grandpa used to own the Bowl on Pershing Avenue.
Yeah.
Technically Nellie's. So like Nellie Vigneri. Nellie is my great grandma.
Okay.
So, I mean, I was kind of around it, kind of saw it a little bit. My grandpa had the bar there at the bowling alley, and then my mom and stepdad never were really in the food and beverage part of it, but I kind of went a different route, started at the railroad for a little while, and then I had done a little bartending here and there, helping some people out, and I kind of, every once in a while, if I was off, I'd help some people out, and I kind of just started enjoying it. And then I got an opportunity to kind of get the Cornerstone back in 2010. And I was like, well, I'll start with one. And it took me 2.5, 3 years. And then
how long you still worked when you had that, right? I mean, you still worked at the railroad for a bit.
When I first got Cornerstone, I had some other people that were kind of partners on and off there at the beginning. So I wouldn't have to always work a ton of shifts, but I mean, there were times where I worked, especially when I changed the name to Woodies, in 2012. That's like when the first gaming started to come through the state of Illinois. And, I had Woodies open from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. every day. And I mean, I would go work at the railroad from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., drive there to the bar, and I'd sit there from 6 a.m. till 1 or 2 in the afternoon when somebody'd come in to kind of relieve me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just sit there and
Yeah.
chill out, kind of sleep in a chair. And, you know, if people are in there playing the games and doing whatever, I tried to establish myself and
Those are
just put a ton of time in.
those are the stories I like, because everybody, I mean, even older people older than us, even people look at it and go, man, lucky, lucky.
Oh.
And it's like, you know how many times, especially someone like you, has probably just said, what in the exact hell am I thinking? What was I?
Yeah.
COVID was a great probably time for that, but you know, but to just keep traction it's admirable, dude. You're freaking killing it.
It just, you know, and you just never know when it happens. It was today at, you know, 11:30. I was at Sliders and knowing, okay, I got to be out here at, you know, 2:00, and next thing you know, we have a group come in with 30 people, and then a second later, we got a group come in with 25 people, and it's like, well, okay, hopefully I make it. So me and the girl Gretchen,
You were getting after
me
it.
and Gretchen just were like, let's just knock it
Let's
out.
rock this.
So, you know, I mean,
So at Sliders, the Notorious, like the food truck and all that came there at first.
they had started, Zach and Seth had started Notorious PIG, the food truck,
Yes.
before COVID. So
Yes.
they had started doing some stuff. They were, you know, getting their feet wet, getting going. I think maybe a year they had been open, maybe a year and a half. I don't quite remember.
It kind of went from like a hobby that turned very successful.
Very successful.
Yeah, because I remember Zach. I don't even know if they had the truck yet, but they were like, you could go buy a whole chicken from. They would smoke 15 chickens and come get it for $20. Just and it would,
they were doing it as
was
a hobby,
like,
and the guy just it blew up on them, and
they're good at it.
it was kind of COVID where, I think like that week that Illinois got shut down for COVID, they were supposed to get their food truck inspected. And obviously that just got thrown out the window. So they're like, what do we do? Like, we have all these commitments for different stuff, all this stuff going on. And
we don't have
they don't have a food truck. They don't have any way of doing this. So we started talking, and they were like, well, we need a commercial kitchen. They're like, can we come out and just use your kitchen at Sliders? We'll bring our smoker out, bring our stuff out. You're already licensed. Can we come out and rent that from you? So I'm like, absolutely.
There was nobody doing
because I was shut down.
Oh yeah.
For COVID, I was like, yeah, you guys can come out.
So it was just empty space.
Yeah,
that you could help.
I mean, they were still doing some stuff here and there that they could work around because of the COVID restrictions.
Oh yeah, you could still deliver some smoked meats.
So they were delivering, and we did some. So that's where we kind of grew into doing some pickups and some carryouts and some different things. And then it just kind of was like, you know, we could probably work something out here where we could put Notorious on the menu full time, and we can. So we, you know,
when shit gets right, you can still have the trailer and go do events.
So that's kind of what it was. I mean, we partnered up on some of the stuff at Sliders, and then they could still do all their events, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing. And
that's cool, man.
I know a ton of people that are amazing cooks.
Yes.
It's easier to cook for 8 or 10 people at home.
Mm-hmm.
Try doing it for hundreds of people every day.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, you know, the last couple of years, Zach and I have done some of these larger events where around the holidays, where we'll do 800 meals a day for ADM, and we'll do it 6 days over the holidays.
And you're like, dude.
So it's you got to make good food, but you got to know how to mass produce it at the same time, and that's where it can get.
You got to have the equipment.
You got to have the equipment. You got to have a plan. You got to have, you know, the staff obviously is important, but there takes a lot of logistics to organize a lot of those things. If you don't do it right, you get burned. So you got.
Oh yeah. Well, and I'm sure that's when it goes. That's not the norm, but you know shit hits in waves, so you guys roll your sleeves up, put some gloves on, and get busy, right? I mean, it's not all staffed out.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys get,
Oh, yeah, there's definitely time. You know, it's like today. You know, all of a sudden
like,
you have, all right,
I just left my tip on the table.
Normally lunches are, you know, I mean, lunches aren't crazy, you know, I mean, but all of a sudden you have that extra 60 people come in, and you're like, okay, like that is
Right.
abnormal. Like
Yeah.
our lunch crowd doubled for today. So
Which perfect
on a
but,
Tuesday.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, you're like, oh,
it's
it's a
random as heck.
Tuesday, you know?
Yeah.
So you just kind of, you never know.
Were you on the city council?
No, I had
Consider-
entertained the idea.
Maybe that's what it was. You just thought about it.
Well, like, I don't know. I think it was like 8 or 10 years
Yeah.
ago. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Which I think they would have. I don't think that would have worked anyway because I don't think they let you if you're like have gaming and maybe.
yeah, I wouldn't have been able to vote on issues that include me. So, like, anytime there was a liquor issue or,
Right.
so I mean,
It's
more
almost-
so I just, it kind of got us. I was talking to a lot of people through there, and I learned that, like, I would have just a lot of people come in and be like, telling me where potholes were.
Oh.
And I'm just like, man, I bet these guys get hundreds of emails every day
You stopped
about-
sending emails about potholes.
about potholes, and I'm like, I get it. I mean, we want them fixed, but it's
Yeah.
like, I'm just like, I bet these people,
You're like, I'm not that
something
guy.
simple like a pothole,
Yeah.
they're probably getting blown up every day.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I can't do it.
Yeah, because you do. You have that different going insight is what they need, a fresh mind, and it's like, yeah, it's not that party, different kind of party.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say the wrong thing at the wrong time in that type of crowd, and
Yeah.
so.
And I'm not taking nothing away from them. I'm thankful for the people who do take the
Oh,
time
God.
to do the shit that, seems like it'd be difficult, but it almost becomes like you have to like that shit.
Yeah.
It's
It's like I'm talking with Rodney all the time about it. I was like, man, like, more power to you, man. Like, I'll help any way I can, except
well,
I'm
that's
not
when I
gonna-
talked to him. I said, that was like, you double dutched that, huh? He goes, yeah, I was in and out.
Yeah.
He goes, you can do nothing, whatever you think. It wasn't politics like that.
Yeah.
I was just a person
Yep.
until that couldn't have any say on anything that I was sitting there for.
Yep. Yeah. Right. You're like,
Huh. Okay. Well, I don't know. You don't know till you try, but yeah, I guess you just did enough homework to say I don't need to do that on
Yeah.
Tuesdays or whatever.
well, and it kind of even goes back to if you do something wrong, half the crowd
Yeah.
is gonna love it, and half of the crowd's
No matter
gonna
what.
hate it, no matter what I do.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't really do that with the business I'm in. I try to keep everybody happy and get everybody into my establishment. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to do something to create that line.
So how cool is it now? Is it that you don't have to have like a big marketing plan and department, and you can just go, hey, again, you have to have quality. We're in a community where
Yeah.
if it's not good, we'll come once.
Yeah.
And then we'll never come again ever. Yeah. Or, and so, yeah, you're able to open, and it seems like, and you and Zach are both good dudes. I mean, you guys are never public assholes to people. You know what I mean? So that, I mean, that helps also. But, yeah, how cool is that to just go, hey, we're opening it. Somebody put a post out, and we're going to pack this place. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, each place I would say I kind of do different levels of like social media marketing. The bigger places like the Sliders and the 4-9, you try to at least one post a day, and then you get down to the.
So do you do this, or do you have a?
We have somebody that does it for us.
Okay. I just meant that'd be a lot to keep up with.
It is. I mean, it isn't. It isn't. It once you get all the.
It's just
like
a matter
the
of
media
scheduling it,
created and the templates, and then you can, if you're good at that.
Yeah, you can.
Once you get that part done, I think it's pretty easy.
Right. Some of the photo
but
shoot,
some of that stuff,
that food at 4-9, dude, it looks like it's in a magazine.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's some actually pretty good apps out there. So like some of the smaller businesses, like a Bevo's, Woody, Pass the Buck, even for the Crowbar when we do it, I can make 1 or 2 posts a week. I'll just do that when I go to bed at night, laying there last couple minutes while I'm watching TV. I can
plug a couple.
I
things
can make a
in
little
and
post and schedule it for
whenever you want.
whenever I want, and
good.
kind of forget it. But the everyday or to sit there for the hours to do like the Sliders and the 4-9 stuff, it takes some work. So,
But I mean, you guys, it doesn't look like I mean, there's a lot of people just bust their phone out, and it's like, well, you guys at least put out quality.
I'll tell you what, it amazes me sometimes with some of the stuff I see. Like like some of the, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't take the best pictures all the time.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'm like, yeah, that probably wasn't the best photo, but man, sometimes some of these photos I see, I'm like, man, they'll look like.
What is it? Yeah,
what, I don't even know what that item is you're trying to show me.
Doing? Yeah, is this
you know,
a question?
the days will be wrong. It's like, hey, come in and see us on. You know, like this morning there was one. I think it was like, oh, Wednesday is special, such and such, and I'm like,
huh.
huh.
I too have apps on my phone that I can create just about anything. So to put something out that's not quality is just lazy
Anymore, yeah.
There's no excuse.
Yep.
So I do some aerial and ground photography for a couple of the real estate companies here in town. And so it makes me now pay attention a lot more to, because I do the bracket shooting where we Photoshop and layer them and pull them out like you're supposed to. Like I've got business from getting a hold of realtors and going, hey, don't take this wrong, but what the fuck are you trying to do?
Oh yeah.
And just give them straight brutal criticism. And it's like, what? But where's that at? Hold your thought. I'll go shoot it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let me show you what.
And go, bam. You don't owe me anything, but step your game up, dude.
Oh yeah.
You know, you don't even have the settings on your phone right that you're taking the picture with. Like at least, so, you know, but.
And, you know, and that helps, you know, I hate to say it, but like you talk about AI and all this stuff we're dealing with, like I've taken a lot of these like Facebook blueprint classes and some of this other stuff, you know, and they're talking about creating your algorithm. And,
yeah.
It's a nightmare,
so
you know.
I mean, we got something that'll do it.
Oh yeah. Well, and even like Facebook, like, you know, probably one of my pet peeves is everybody's like, oh, I hate Facebook anymore. And, or even for my business, it'll be like, why don't you post anymore? I'm like, I post every day. And they're like, well, it's not coming up on my feed. So like I tell people, I was like, you understand how Facebook works, right? Like you have to interact with it.
Yeah.
You just can't let everything come to you and then
expect
to love it.
Stopped and looked.
It doesn't know what you like. So like I tell people all the time, like if there's something you don't want to see, hide the post.
Yep.
If there is something, if you want to see more sliders posts or more 4.9 posts, like it, share it.
Yeah.
Then you will get it in you've got to build your algorithm.
Yeah. No, this is true.
I love Facebook.
No, this is true.
Because I try to every post that comes up, I try to either like it, hide it,
more of that,
interact with each one.
Yeah.
You know, you can go on there and you can search birthdays. I try to tell people happy birthday all the time. That, you know, I mean,
yeah.
I want to know, don't get me wrong, I want to see my friends more and I want to do all this stuff, but we know how real world is. If I can give a crummy happy birthday on Facebook,
that's something.
It's something.
It's a card.
Right?
It's sending a card.
It's,
dude.
you know, so I mean, get on there and do that. Like, I mean,
especially if we're gonna spend the time either way.
Yeah, if you're gonna be on there scrolling through it, just trying to look at whatever you want to look at, why wouldn't you want to be looking at the stuff that you are interested in?
Right.
So you gotta change your algorithm.
Right.
So I mean that's one of the biggest things. I tell people that all the time.
Interact with it. Don't
interact with it.
Yeah,
I mean, TikTok's a perfect example.
Yeah.
You start TikTok. If you watch a video too long, it knows the type of videos you like.
Yeah, it's like,
so then all of a sudden,
you like that big butt, huh?
Yeah, like, all right, here's 100 of them. It's like, you know,
can I get something else?
So then you're trying to scroll, and you're like, I'm just not trying to look
let's go back to the motivational stuff.
Yeah, like I wasn't trying to be you know,
you got me for a second.
Yeah,
that was it. Yeah, no, that's true.
I mean, TikTok has an advanced algorithm that, you know, it'll pick up on what you want to see. So it's like interact with Facebook. A couple of years, you know, everybody on these social media sites is either a political analyst, doctor, and all this. I mean, we've seen it all through COVID and the elections and all this.
I get a kick out of the people that I know, and I mean, people change, and I think that's great. But yeah, sometimes you're sitting there going, "I know you. What are you talking about?"
There's so much stuff on there where people are getting involved with that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have no involvement in that. Like, why even?
Why?
You're just making a comment to make a comment. Or, I don't need a step-by-step post on you adulting. We're all adults. Like,
Oh man, that's my killer,
each I'm
dude.
like, I went to the store today and ran a couple errands and did that. All right, well, you
Got the kids fed and bathed. It's like, I think the state requires that. That's not, you don't get anything
I'm just
for
like,
that.
golly, man, like,
It's,
I miss MySpace.
yeah, no shit. People do just want people to like their shit.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
don't
God.
I mean, I
that's
guess
like
if
TikTok.
you post an event, I mean, of course you will keep an eye to see who's paying attention. But I mean, I can't overall. I can't say I've ever like even posted a picture of like my son or something and went back to see how many people
Oh yeah.
liked. I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck.
I don't know. I mean, I think my profile picture is still
The same.
the same.
Yeah.
Same one I've had for who knows how
me.
many years.
Still me.
Yeah. Just I
Yeah.
look 10 years younger, I think. So
Right.
that's
Perfect.
a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's also social media is a really cool wave. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it is amazing. I mean, like
You
we
got to
just
use
said,
it to your advantage for
you
sure.
could, everything is, it at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Which it's insane. That's what I was telling someone. Like again, goes back to there's no excuse for poor quality stuff, especially when now there's some apps you can just dump a bunch of nonsense into and it will create what you're going for.
That Chat GPT, I mean,
Yeah, tell it what you want.
You tell it what you want,
Yeah.
and it'll make it for you.
Yeah.
So I mean, and even if you're not wanting to do anything, just do the minimal. Like,
Yeah, do the
I
minimal.
mean,
Dude, I was doing a drone giveaway for Halloween, and I told Chat GPT like angry clown with drones, and it was like the coolest, most badass clown holding a big scary clown. And it was like
that was easy.
5 seconds. It took
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
It took me longer to think of what I was trying to say, and it's like, oh, I got you here. What about this one or this one? It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. I use that all the time now. I mean, you can.
I use it on. So a lot of times I'll communicate with a lot of people I don't know, like in the contracting thing, and the people are a lot smarter than me on a lot of levels, but not about what I'm doing. So I'll use it now. I'll tell it what I'm trying to say, and it will.
Oh yeah.
Smarten me up, dude.
I've done it. I've had some, like I said, I'm trying to work and get out of the business a little bit, or at least slow down. But, I still have to update information with banks and different people I work with. And I had somebody, I don't know, somebody was wanting, just give us your business plan on, I don't remember what it was, something I was working on or something I had talked about. So it was like, I just want to see your business plan. I was like, man, I don't even want to really do this, but I was just talking about it. So I put it in the Chat GPT and sent it off to the guy. He's like, oh, that's amazing, man. Thanks for getting that to me so quick. I'm like, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was like, I even had to double check and work through it. What did I really say? I was, I mean, killed it. They're like, oh, this is perfect.
There's one I use. I think it's called Chatbox or Chatbot, to where it has like your regular ask all, or it has like your legal specified. Like you can ask it what law made it so bloop, and it will tell you.
Really?
Yeah. Really
I'll
legit.
have to look for that.
If you have a legal situation going on, you can tell it, and it will ask you for certain documents that you have. If you're asking that question,
that's
and
pretty cool.
It will let you scan it in, and it will basically go, here, if you were your own attorney, here's what you should do.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it really is cool.
Huh.
Chat, I don't mean to have to get on this, but I want to see real quick what this thing is called.
I'll have to check that out. That's pretty, I mean, that.
And it's cool because it has like, what is it? Chat box.
Chat box. All right, I'll check it out.
Yeah. So look, it has like little people. Like you scroll the creative thinker, the web owl, the creative assistant, the attorney, the dating advisor. It has the wellness. Like if you're feeling sick, you can kind of diagnose yourself through anything. And then the one at the end, the GP4, that's the one where I'm sure my last thing was. Yeah, my last thing was how should I go about inviting someone to sit down on my podcast that I don't know personally? So it
There you go.
and it told me, yeah, here's the best way. First, it goes, great idea. It sounds like it's going to be amazing, and here's what you should do. And it's just like,
You're like, okay, I
okay,
can use that. I can work with
I
it.
can work with
Yeah.
that. Yeah, you can't. It's still far from like personal communication, but it's most of the communication that we do isn't personal. It's
Oh yeah. It's,
checking boxes. Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
An email, a text. Yeah.
Which I like. I mean, I still deal with a lot of people who want to do conference calls, and I hate it because and why are we? Because then you wait on the minutes so you can say that's not what you said, bro.
I would rather text most of the time on all the business stuff, just because I feel like
Reference.
that's a better reference and record.
For sure.
I mean, and then we can usually get to everything we're trying to hammer out so much faster.
I even will sit down and have a business meeting with someone and or call with them, and I will immediately follow up with an email.
Oh yeah.
And say,
Absolutely.
hey, let's hit. All I need you to just acknowledge it, and we're still on
Just
the
make
same
sure
page.
everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
Tell me now if there's any.
Because
know.
I've misspoke.
Yep.
I've thought something, said something else, and was like, no, I know what I said, and I didn't.
No, yeah, absolutely. I've been there.
Yeah,
or
so-
you get going so fast. I mean, I'm working on a potential, one of my last projects that I have still up and running. So I met with somebody this morning and we're trying to figure out his responsibility, my responsibility.
Yeah.
So, I mean, started old school. I got the piece of paper out and
Yeah.
his checklist, my checklist, his checklist. And then I type up the email or the text and I send it off just so everybody's on the.
It's so cool that you're just, you've like mastered the, starting it up, and to be able to educate people on what the most expensive part of starting a company is the shit that's not in your business plan.
Well, and so many people.
I mean, you overlook a lot of things. I mean,
I get so many calls. People are like, hey, I've got $100,000 I want to invest, or hey, this guy said this place is for sale for $200,000. I got the 200 grand to go start it. And I'm always like, look, man, like you got 200 grand. Let's go find you a business that might cost you 40 or 50.
right.
Because
Yeah.
you're going to need that money for payroll, bills. I don't know. Save it. Like we can find you something better. Like, and then if you make some money there, then you can start to grow. Like, and that's how I was able to build and do what I did. I never, I started off small and slow and didn't, never took out any huge bank loans in the beginning. And,
Do you have a faithful bank now? Like you have a faithful, you
Oh,
got a relationship?
I absolutely love where I'm at. He's even one of my partners there at Bevo's. Like it kind of, he was, I got to know him, kind of around the COVID time, knew him a little bit, was getting to know him. And then I had kind of something came up. I was working on buying the whole building of sliders and that whole thing. And, it kind of was a bad time to be buying property,
Okay.
and, but there was kind of an urgency to get it done. And when I called him up and he was like, calm down. He was like, hey, I'm not busy today. I'll come down for lunch. And, this is a bank president. Hey, yeah, I'm in town. I'll come down for lunch and we'll talk and we'll go through it all. And, 30 minutes later, he's like, all right, we're good. We'll figure it out. So it's great to know you have that guy. And even one of the last businesses that I got involved in, I called him up and I was like, hey man, I'm thinking about doing this. Like, he's like, okay, tell me why, like, how does this benefit you? Like, does it make sense? And so I kind of asked him all the questions or I answered his question. He's like, okay, this absolutely makes sense for you. Whatever. We're going to do this, this, and this. I was like, okay, what do I need to do? He goes, nothing. Don't worry about it. And like literally 4 weeks later, he called me. He's like, are you needing something done tomorrow? And I'm like, well, yeah. He's like, oh, okay, we're good. I'll take care of it. So, Yeah. So, I
That's
mean,
great, dude.
it's just awesome to know. And so now, like, if I call him or
It's part of the team
it's
now.
part of the team, you know, and even like I could call him and he's like, we're not doing another place. Or I said, nope, that's not what I'm calling, you know. But, you know, now you can joke around with that and you've got that. You know, it just makes it so much easier,
Yeah.
especially, I built a relationship with so many of the employees that work there too. So now I can call them and be like, hey, I need, ones or fives or quarters, or I need my limit,
Do you
upped
have
on this.
managers of everywhere? I mean, do you
Um,
manage anywhere?
I pretty much have managers everywhere.
I mean, that make like schedules for and
Yeah,
shit like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I have somebody that does all the schedules, pretty much like what I'm doing. If I'm not like in the development phase or building a place, like kind of right now with the crowbar, like, took over November 1st. So I go in there and I assess what I want to do to the place
Is
to
it
make
open?
it. No, it's not open right
okay.
now. So, I assess what I want to, how I want it to look. I look at what equipment I need. So then I order the equipment and I, paint and, might repair the walls here and there. Or I go buy some TVs and put up TVs and, right there, we're moving the poker machines and I'm changing the name. So, we're redoing all these, the corporate documents, the
I was going to ask,
paperwork.
can you say what the name is?
Yeah, it's going to be Jen's Beer Den.
Jen's Beer Den. All right,
Kind
it's
of
Mama's spot.
back to, remember Mel's Beer
Yeah,
Shed?
that is
So,
great. That is cool.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
We got some pretty good feedback
That's a
for
good
that.
idea.
So, out there you'll have Woodies and Jen's.
That's cool. Oh, that's
So,
awesome. Right on the same end.
Yeah, so
Did they have a kitchen?
they did.
Okay.
It's pretty small.
Will you do any food or?
Yeah, I'm gonna do. It won't be a full menu, but it's gonna be a pretty good little menu. If you haven't been to Bevo's yet, so we bought this they call it a turbo oven.
Okay.
It can cook a frozen pizza in 2 minutes, and they're good.
Okay, I've
They're
seen
good.
them. I haven't seen them personally.
So, like
but
at
I've seen-
Bevo's, we do the frozen pizzas, we do gyros, mozzarella sticks, pretzel sticks.
Okay.
And I mean, you're talking pretzel sticks are like 40 seconds,
So
a
you're-
gyros
you-
55.
You're getting some snacking.
So
on for
yeah,
sure.
I mean, and we'll have, I think at Jen's we're gonna do probably like 15 or 20 menu items. So it should be pretty good. I mean,
That's
I
cool.
don't want it just to be just beer drinking.
Right.
I want some food sales. I want people coming in. We're gonna get some dartboards.
Yeah.
We'll have the machines, obviously. But what's nice about that is I don't have to have a kitchen. That doesn't have to have a hood. Doesn't have to have all that other stuff. So I won't be putting in a fryer. Like I can do everything right in this oven. That's 18 inches
How
wide,
cool is
2
that,
foot tall.
dude?
So I've kind of moved that out into an area inside I guess, kind of by the bar area.
Yeah.
And put it on the back bar. So I bought a freezer, put it on there. We got another cooler. I mean,
When are you guys trying to open?
I'm hoping for January 1st.
Oh,
So
all right.
I'm literally just waiting on kind of the last couple things. POS got installed this morning, so I got that done. We poured a poly or epoxy the bar, wait for it to dry and finish up. We're moving the poker machines tomorrow.
Okay.
So we'll see what's behind there, see if I got to make any repairs. And
you have a contractor that you use, or are you?
For this stuff, it's all just minor little stuff.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I ripped out one little half wall and fixed it.
No
It was
major
easy.
renovation, just
Yeah.
flip flopping, replacing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Clean up a couple things, make it nice. Like Bevo's, though, I mean, Bevo's was a full build. I mean, that place was, it was bad.
Start
I
to
mean,
finish,
it was bad. So, I mean, you're talking, we gutted all the walls, the ceiling. I mean, we took it down to just a metal building. And we had to run, and there's curveballs in it. The first build or the first plan were the bathrooms that were actually out in the bar. We were going to leave them there and kind of move some stuff, but there was, imagine it's just a shed that's probably 30 by 50.
Okay.
And then behind it was like a 2-car garage. So it had bathrooms up front before, and we kind of figured it out and mapped it out how we're going to do all this stuff. And You're like, all right, let's do it. And then you get started on it. You're like, what if we move the bathrooms in the back? And you're like, oh man. Yeah, well, we haven't done anything yet. We haven't.
Might as well create more work.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, well, let's call them back and see how much this would cost. So I mean, we had, all new plumbing put in the whole place, all new electrical,
Ooh.
All new walls built, and a brand new parking lot, new patio.
How many people could fit in that place? Is it...
I think we're probably about 50 or 60.
Oh, so it's not tiny by any means.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's small though. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a smaller place, but
Right.
man, I tell you what, it turned out great.
That's cool.
So I mean, it was definitely a little more work than planned, but it turned out.
And it sounds like, I mean, I see I don't know if it's encouraged or maybe because I click on the posts, but I see every day people are giving, that was the bomb or whatever.
Yeah, we get real good feedback for that one. So it's been doing great. So
yeah. So you got into, and I forgot about this till just now. Damn it, I don't remember the name of it, but you had a wing spot on William.
Yeah,
BC Wings. Yeah.
I miss those.
So what happened?
The price of wings just
Priced you out of the game?
Priced it out of the game during COVID. I mean, during COVID,
Is that when that closed?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know the time.
We tried to open one in Bloomington, and we opened it Monday that they shut down all the bars and restaurants in Illinois. March 16th of 2020 or whatever it was.
Oh, so
we're like, we'll do package and carry out of it. Well, it's just a nightmare. And then the prices went through the roof. I mean, case of wings back then was like $180 a case.
Oh yeah, everything went up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was insane. It was tough to get, enough staff, followed all the rules. I mean, it was tough. So we that one lasted, I think like 3 or 4 months.
And you just lost money, right?
Yeah. I mean, we had gone in and redone the whole ceiling, painted the whole place, put in a bunch of TVs, updated it, made it look pretty nice.
So
And
that's the one
about
that
3 or 4 months.
the one that COVID got you.
Yeah. Well, and we had here in Decatur, we had BC, and we originally started, we were there off of Grand, North Water and Grand, right there in that little gas station across from like the Walgreens.
Yeah.
And we ended up having some issues there with the landlord. Basically, he got foreclosed on, shut down. The building went to the bank.
Didn't I come pull some signs off that building for you?
We did.
Because I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. Yeah. It's actually a nice building.
Oh, it was great. I would have loved for it to work out, but the landlord got foreclosed on. He went out of business, went to the bank, and then so the bank sold it at auction. And when the new landlords came in, they're like, "Hey, we're going to raise your rent to $6,000 a month." And I'm like, "Well, we can't do that."
No, you're not.
Yeah. So I mean,
from what? Do you remember what you started at? I mean, was it way less?
I think it was $2,000. Yeah, $2,000 a month.
That's what I was going to say. No more than that.
Yeah, and which was high, but we kind of got in there because it had been a good location for gaming.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so we jumped out of there, went to another location, spent a bunch of money on the one there on Brush College.
Yeah.
And you know what? We dealt with great landlords there. It sucks it didn't work out there, but that one was true COVID. Like, I mean, we had redone the parking lot, new parking lot, painted the whole place, rebuilt the whole inside, all new equipment.
And
waited our time period to get the poker machine. I mean, you're talking, that's 8 months.
Yeah.
Weathering that storm. And then
I remember seeing
COVID
Brent
hit,
on a regular, and he was sweating the shit out of it. Like,
yeah. I mean, even right now, I mean, we do, at Sliders, we try to do a wing special 1 or 2 nights a week, like dollar wings. A case of wings costs $125, $130. And they're 40-pound cases, and you'll get about 180 wings out of there. Because of their big wings. I mean, there's no.
Oh yeah.
They're supposed to be these. So basically, they're supposed to be the wings we buy are called jumbos, and they're supposed to be 6 to 8 wings per pound. Well, they're coming in at 5 wings per pound. So if somebody orders 12 wings, they're getting basically 2.5 pounds you know, and I'm buying the wings at a 40-pound case for $125.
So yeah, you're not making.
So
a killing.
I'm not making, you know,
Yeah.
so look at 180 wings out of the case at $1 a wing when we do our wing special. That's $180.
Yeah.
I paid $130 for the case. Haven't even cooked them. Haven't even put a sauce on.
No one's giving them to you.
Yeah, I mean, so when a bar does dollar wings, they're not making any money.
Yeah, they're just come on, come enjoy yourself.
Come have some beers.
Come have some free wings.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, pay. Yeah,
You know,
you don't
pay
have
the
to pay for
cost of
service.
these. You know,
Yeah.
because the next size of wing was crazy. Like I said, those are jumbos and they're called 6/8, but we're coming in at 5 per pound. The next size of wing is supposed to be like a 10, 12, and they're little itty bitty wings. You get like 14 of them. So it's either 5 wings to a pound or 14 wings to a pound.
Which are embarrassing.
Yeah. And you don't want to go down. So it's just like, okay, what do? Do you try to, you know, talk the public into, we're going to stop selling them by the dozen and sell by the weight, you know, we're going to sell a pound of wings.
Yeah.
So we've talked about that, but I mean, that's what got us during COVID. I mean,
You can't.
you know, you're paying, you know,
Can't give shit
$4 a
away and
pound,
make
$5 a pound for wings, and you're trying to sell 12 wings for $15.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah.
and the problem there was we only did wings.
Right.
So we didn't
It
have.
was like there was something else that was good. That you
Yeah,
could mark
it's
up
like,
a little
okay, what
bit,
can we
but-
fall back to? But I mean, we had 3 fryers.
Yeah.
We don't have flat top there. We didn't want one. We do wings.
Yeah.
So
There's another good spot we had in town that closed down, and the owner said it was because they couldn't afford it. That TKG, that was, so they had some.
oh
good,
yeah, they had good stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, it was tough. I mean, COVID.
Again, like you said, you go, if you sell wings, then you don't go. We also have wing what? Nothing. You want
Yeah,
them naked?
you know. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna sell.
Yeah.
You know, enough chicken or chicken strips and cheese sticks or whatever to
Right.
just, you know, when we travel, we don't go to the corporate chains.
Yeah.
You know, we're
Yeah.
always trying to find like
And they're usually
where the locals going to eat
amazing,
dinner.
too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you
Like
can't
we
miss.
ask around, like anytime, like if wherever we go, we'll ask somebody, oh hey, if you were gonna go to a bar and have a drink tonight, where would you go?
Yeah.
Try this, and this.
Yeah.
Or, all right, where would you go for a steak? Or where would you go for,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. So we do that all the time. And we always get some great leads. And
That's where it's at. Well, yeah, the people who diners and shit like that.
Oh,
Yeah. I went to had some crazy. I don't know what the schedule. Oh, I had to pick somebody up from the airport, and I had to leave at like 2 a.m. So I was just going to pull an all-nighter. You remember Bill's Toasties?
oh yeah.
I went there. I was like, is
Oh.
this place open by chance? And it was. I ate like 40
they open?
milligrams of edibles. So I was like starving. They were open 24 hours.
Yeah, as I say, they're 24. I thought.
And, yeah, I went down there and I had literally just missed Matt Hughes,
Oh yeah.
the
Yeah,
UFC,
UFC,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah. Which I remembered him, but
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like, they're like, he literally was just. I go, I didn't see him. And
Oh yeah.
I didn't get my ass kicked on the way in, so I'm glad I missed
Oh.
that guy. No, but yeah, I love the little spots.
Oh yeah. That's what you try to create. I mean, that's what we
Yeah.
always try to build is,
Yeah,
you know, the
Go-tos.
little places. I think that's why the 4.9 does good. I think it's got that, you know, kind of local place, which it
Yeah.
is obviously, but that's something you could really
do whatever you want with it.
put it all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean,
You could put it in downstairs of a hotel.
yeah, you know,
Yeah,
I would, you know, I've said that
What do you
would be
got? Just a really good cook, or good?
we've
how
got
does
a
that
lot of
work?
good people, really. I
yeah.
mean, we've got
The team.
I mean, I think we've got 30 employees there, you know, so I mean, it's, you know, we've got a ton of great cooks. We kind of give them all the same with the cooks and the front of house. We give them, they're the ones that come up with all these food ideas, all these drink ideas. I mean, we
Give them.
say, hey,
we'll give you the
this
nod.
week's yours, this year, like,
Oh,
let's do it.
It's
Like,
incorporated.
oh yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, I mean, and the manager there and the kitchen manager and the front of house manager, you know, they work together and it's great, really.
That's cool.
So, I mean,
man.
they're constantly just coming up with crazy ideas. And like,
It
all
works.
right, go for it.
If it works, it
Yeah.
works.
So, I mean, like I said, that would be always the one that, like, I mean, like I see that, like in the 4.9, like I would love to see, like in some, suburb in Chicago or some
Yeah.
just, or some tourist place down south, just to get the true like traction it deserves.
Yeah, and and the people who go there, it's a treat for them too.
Oh yeah.
So,
I've always said like I would love to have a place in a touristy spot. I mean, that gets new customers every day.
right.
I mean,
Looking for somewhere to eat.
looking for somewhere to eat.
Yeah.
I'm in, if I could do it in central Illinois with the customer base I have,
Then there's no way
to,
it would kill it.
I mean, here you got to do your best. You got to keep people happy. You got to, go over the top. You got to customer service. I mean, everything's got to be perfect.
yeah.
You make one mistake, you just get destroyed, blasted,
Yeah.
so you got to try hard. Like,
Well, you're basing
not just my
everything on
restaurants.
return.
I promise you, every place in this town
Yeah.
is trying to do their best job. They really are. They don't want any bad reviews. They don't want nothing. Everybody is working hard.
Yeah.
But some tourist town down in Florida, that guy ain't got to try nearly as hard. He's got a new customer base every week, thousands of people.
It's a really good point.
They
Are banking on 10 people leaving unhappy today every day.
Yeah, it's like I
And
always
they
say,
might
like
Yelp review
look
you.
at like their phones, like Verizon and AT&T. You think either one of those people care if they lose 10 customers today?
Right.
Because you know why? Because AT&T is probably going to lose 10. Verizon loses 10.
And
Where
you-
do those two people go?
You just go on flipping teams. That's
Yeah,
it.
they don't
You don't care.
care.
I know. I've threatened to leave AT&T
Yeah.
on the phone with them before.
Yeah,
And
and they're
thought to
like-
myself, like, some lady that's just sitting in a cubicle somewhere is looking like, give a
Yeah, like my phone's lighting up with
Yeah,
100 people
yeah.
trying to set up new service.
Sir, I'm allowed to give you $50 off your next
Yeah.
bill. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's not even what you called about. I know. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
So I
God.
mean, it's just,
That's funny though.
but
But yeah, you're right. I mean, you got a good thing. And yeah, I mean, when you hit a home run, it feels good,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you
oh
did.
yeah, I mean,
It sounds like you did too now. Both things that you've actually built have been killing it.
mhm.
Sliders is a staple at this point. It's
Yeah.
a part of the.
Sliders does great.
Yeah.
It just, it kind of, it has its ups and downs.
Yeah. You guys will pull events here and there to get people
Oh, yeah.
out, so now I'm sure that does something here.
Yeah, I mean, Sliders is one of those ones where, it's like last week, I'm looking at everything. I planned for this home run, and it was okay.
Right.
Which it's like, okay, man, it's holiday week. Usually all this stuff happens, but then I talk to everybody else, and everybody's like, oh man, we were super slow, and I'm like, well, we weren't super slow, but
So it just was.
so it was just slow,
We
and
did
then
not get chose.
and
People
then
just
the-
didn't go.
Yeah, people just didn't go. But then the week before, I'm like, nobody's gonna be out. It's the week before the holidays,
Bang.
and we got our butts kicked.
It's
It's like,
so
what are you
unpredictable.
guys thinking? Like, so and then again, here I am. Okay, Tuesday, first week of December.
For
eh,
sure,
we'll be
not
dead.
anything going on.
Yeah, so then you're just like, okay. So there's almost no rhyme or reason anymore behind it. You
If
just-
you, if
you
you
just
get
gotta-
chose when people are ready to go, then good.
yeah,
But I mean, that's what to have a few. That's kind of cornering the market out there.
Yeah.
If you provide 3 of the 4 good options, I don't even really. Yeah, there's a couple Mexican joints out there that are decent. What else
and
is out
I
there?
mean, you got next to Sliders, you got Timbuktu, you
Yeah.
got Causes down across the
Causes,
street
that's what I
from
was trying to think.
the 4-9. You got Crawford's across the street from Bevo's. It's like I want everybody to do great. Like
Yeah,
I have always been a firm believer of the more stuff we have out in that area, the more people that'll come to that area. That might be, kind of what we were talking about, Springfield, Bloomington, Champaign. Like you can go to those cities and you can hit a ton of stuff in one real small
That's right.
area. Can't really do that here. I mean,
You're on your
it's
way
not
to-
like the old days of like when you just drove downtown,
Yeah.
park your car, and you could walk to,
Yep.
5, 6
Yeah.
bars
Yeah.
and make a whole night of it and still see everybody.
Yeah.
Can't do that now. I think our generation kind of got out for the social networking. These newer,
Yeah. you don't
younger
have to.
kids, they don't have to as much.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what, someone like, I think they look at it as more work. well, if I go to Sliders and have a couple there, then I have to drive all the way down the road to
Yeah.
go to Bevo's or, you know,
Yeah.
it's
There's reasons.
it's nice when there's 3 or 4 places all together. I love when a bunch of places can, you know, I've already talked to a couple people out there on, you know, Route 48 with Jen's. I'm like, hey, let's work together. Like, we'll have Woodies, we'll have Jen's, we'll have Friendlies, we'll have Rocco's. Like, we'll
Yeah.
have this whole little area. Like,
That's what's
let's
up.
come up with something. That's 4 places, like really close.
Yeah.
Like, let's feed
Especially,
off of that.
Yeah, no
you know?
doubt. Because like you said, you could come make a night of it, and
Yep.
you're going to go up 3/4 of a mile. That's how
Yep.
far you're going to have to drive tonight.
Yeah, you know, and again, kind of what we were saying with the phones. Like, okay, I might make a couple of people unhappy, but there's other places out there that are going to make we're all going to share the customers.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to have a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the end of the world.
No.
So,
Well, and you're going to be the spot. Well, Friendly's has decent food.
oh yeah,
I don't think. What's next door to that?
Rocco's.
Oh yeah, it doesn't have food, right?
No food yet, but they're actually thinking about doing a
Okay.
little something there.
And Woodies is no food at all.
No food. We got pizzas.
Pizzas, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you guys, man, Woody seems to be. I will randomly go to hit Farm and Fleet or go to South Shores or whatever, and man, that parking lot is always something. I mean,
You just never know.
I'm
You know,
like,
it's-
what the hell? I
Yeah.
don't even know. Again, it'll be a random night.
It's a
and
random
like,
day. Just all of a sudden.
I mean, there's 30 cars here. Like,
Yeah.
What the hell?
It's kind of like 50 people, 60 people showing up at lunch on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
You really just don't know anymore. It's,
Yeah.
you know,
It's nice to be one of the several of the places that are the chosen ones.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can't look at your numbers every day.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
look at them monthly.
Right.
You know, you're like, oh my God, we had a horrible Monday. Like, don't even
Stop it.
sweat it. Cause like, you know, you might have a horrible Monday and,
Yeah.
you know, or what happens is you have a great Monday. You're like, oh yes, we're going to have a killer week.
Everything
And
just
then, you know, you have a horrible
that was it.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and you're like, well, we're back to average. That just evened it all out. You just wait till
stop
the
it.
end of the week. I don't even look. You just,
You can feel it when it's going good,
Yep.
at least. You
Yeah.
know?
so you just kind of you.
So, are you your accountant?
No, I have accountants for that.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you just have someone that you can check in with
Yep.
and go.
I have 3 different accountants that I use.
That's
Just to,
not
that any of them are better or worse than the others, just to kind of keep stuff
separate.
You know, usually look at it every week and I'm like, okay, well, I know how much it costs each place to run every week.
Right.
So if the numbers, as long as the numbers over that, then I'm just like, oh, we made a little, we made a lot. You know, you kind of just look at that. You don't, you know, let it stress you too much.
Yeah.
You know, the accountants more look at, you know, where they save me is what makes my job easy there is when they go in and look at every little record and they can categorize it real easy for me. So then at the end of the month, if I say, hey, last month it was a little tight, can you send me a P&L just so I can
See
what it was? Because, I mean, it's going to probably sound dumb, but depending on when next, so 1st of December, this was Sunday. Well, this December I'll have 4 Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Those are my busy days,
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, Sundays. So when I look at the numbers at the end of the month, they'll be okay because I'll have 4 weeks of the orders for 4 weekends of sales. Well, January, since January 1st is on a Wednesday, next January, I'll have 5 weekends, 5 Friday, Saturday, Sundays. So my January is going to look phenomenal.
you already know that going in.
So
Don't get excited.
Don't get excited about it because then there'll be a month down the road where I'll have 5 weeks of orders with 4 weekends.
Okay.
So I'll be like, oh man, I got my butt kicked last month. Well,
Okay.
you gotta, you know, you can't really, you gotta know what you're looking at.
Man,
so I mean,
there's a lot to it, dude.
yeah,
Huh.
you know, and just, you know, I don't think I get too crazy on stuff. I think that's why I've been able to keep growing.
Like what?
I'm kind of cheap on,
Yeah.
when stuff has to get repaired, you can do big repairs, or you can do like, let's see if we can fix this. Let's not go buy a brand new ice machine today.
Right.
I know it gave us a little fit. It's done it twice. Let's make this mend and see if it gets us, because that's when you start. I mean, anything commercial out there is so much more expensive. So then you start,
Well, it's kind of, I mean, it's being smart.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Just going slow.
I think even just listening to you just talk for the last few minutes about stuff that I'm like, never would have thought about that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
there's so much shit that goes into running a bit. I mean, you can be able to cook a good food.
Yeah.
You could be a great judge of if a waiting staff is good or not, but that doesn't mean you can.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff you gotta.
That thing is so cool.
And some of it just starts to come then so natural. That's why a lot of times I'm bad at, maybe giving like a general manager the proper direction, because I'm like, oh, we just have to do this, this, and this, and
Like
I can do it in 2 seconds. Like, don't worry about it, and
yeah,
that's where you got to get a little better
teaching.
at teaching somebody, like, this is why we do this. This is why we,
Yeah, it will become normal to them.
It'll become normal for you soon enough.
Yeah.
But as part about what I'm wanting to do as I slowly transition to be able just to, just kind of coast a little more, let everything maintain and just work, is giving up some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I can take care of getting payroll to the accountant or all this. And it's like, I don't have to.
Right.
Like, and even more of that stuff with technology, the job's gotten a lot easier for what I'm doing.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
POSs at the locations tell me every piece of information I need to know.
Right.
Without having to go look at all the records.
So is gaming still the biggest thing in town? I mean, is that still what keeps everything alive, even when it's doing bad, or is it like, no?
Yes and no. I mean, it's great. I feel like the minute the state passed the gaming, everything got more expensive. I mean,
yeah,
Comcast charged you more money all of a sudden for your service. Your insurance is now more expensive because you've got poker machines. I mean, I think they knew, oh, well, these bars are going to be making all this money because of these poker machines. We're going to take our cut. So 10 years ago, a bar could make money just selling drinks.
Yeah.
I bet there ain't very many of them in Decatur that are,
it's not possible.
That would be making what they make just on drinks.
Yeah.
I mean, but there are them out there. I mean, like, look at the 4-9. We don't have no poker machines, no nothing, and we're doing fine. So
Will you get them?
No, we're not going to get them there.
Good idea. No, I just think
we got a great customer base there, and I think there would be the people that says, "Oh man, it'd
just be another
nice
stop.
to have a place that didn't have them," and that's fine. Like, we had thought about it. I'm not going to say that we weren't preparing for a possibility of them, but we didn't know how successful this new location was going to be. So it's proven that we don't need them.
I just think good. Yeah. And I think that's a great call because, some people, they get distracted by it. Like, even to go out and enjoy dinner, there's some people who are like, oh man.
Well, they can hear that little ding in the background. They're just like, I get it. I mean,
I'm not a.
I think there are definitely places in town that have to have them to stay afloat.
Yeah. And then, like, one you provide, it's, hey, if you're down to come game, come on. Let's get it. Yeah.
And I've always kind of said too, like, that's kind of my part of my argument with, I get people saying, oh, they're bad for society or whatever, that people talk negative because, you can get addicted on everything out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah. Look at our population.
Yeah, I mean, alcohol,
from food,
drugs,
to alcohol to drugs,
shopping.
Yeah.
There's addictions all over the corner. People just let people be responsible for themselves and spend their money how they want. And it's like looking at the gaming parlor that I have.
You could buy booze at every gas station.
Yeah, cigarettes, every gas station. I mean,
yeah.
There's but like, I think they think that it's just maybe the poorer people trying to gamble to win this
This
big chunk of money.
Yeah.
And it's like, I go to stop by my gaming parlor here and there, and it's like, okay, there's 2 lawyers and a doctor,
yeah,
you know,
they're just
on a
spending some
Saturday
time,
afternoon, they went
spending some money.
golfing, and now they're just goofing around on this. It's like,
Yeah,
you know, or you got sliders, you know, you got these guys that own paving companies and asphalt
Yeah.
businesses and construction companies and
right.
heating and air, and you got all the, you know, it's like,
Again, the
Wait a
big
minute.
picture should
Yeah.
be there's not going to be someone that comes in here with 4 wrinkled up ones to play this.
yes, like, you know,
Yeah.
and, but don't get me wrong, I'm sure it happens. There is somebody that comes in
And
there
plays a penny or
and
whatever.
all they've got is $5 to their name, and
Yeah.
you're like, man, I really wish that person wasn't in here gambling.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Well, shit happens,
But
but again,
the
we
majority
are-
of those customers, like at least the ones I see, and maybe I'm, you know, blind and don't see the big picture, but I feel like I do know a lot of our customers, and a lot of them, you know, if they want to gamble, that
dude,
they're
100%
responsible.
of
I
the
mean-
times that I've went into a just gaming place in town, which it's been only probably a handful, but 100% of the times, if there was anyone in there at all younger than me, then they just looked old. But I mean, it was like my parents' age.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, that's what they do.
yeah.
That's bingo. That's whatever. You know what I mean?
If they don't do it in one of our establishments locally, they're gonna get
Yeah,
in
they
their
don't-
car and go elsewhere.
Yeah, they don't have to go to Peoria no more.
They don't have to
You
go to
know?
St. Louis. They don't have to go
Yeah.
to Peoria. They,
Yeah,
you know, it's like the dispensary, you know, like
right.
everybody's like, oh, we're gonna put it out of town. We don't want that.
Yeah,
People are just gonna go to it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. No.
I mean, everybody was driving to Springfield
Yeah.
anyway.
yeah.
Like,
It doesn't. But I think so. How is it? How simple is that? Yep, we just found out the solution. But why? How can that get? How do you think that gets ignored? Because the person that makes things happen is just a control, and that means you don't ask questions. You just figure out how to make people
politics.
go with it.
You know, there's.
That is politics.
I think people want to. One side wants to win, and if they can not allow something to happen, I mean, then one side wins.
What do you think about that big crossing facility that got built? What do you think about that? You know much about it?
I don't know a ton about it,
Yeah.
but in the grand scheme of things, I look at it as we want every business, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, those are jobs. That's what we need, indicator. We need every job we can take it. Those jobs are just as important as, you know, you hear people say that there's a link there between the person that, you know, paid for that to be built and not having a cannabis indicator.
Yeah.
There probably is. But at the same time, you need both businesses because,
Yeah. Why does
It's
somebody?
just more
Why is
jobs.
it one side versus the other?
you know, in my mind, it's more jobs. I mean, I get frustrated when I see the city say that they don't want any more. They're putting a cap on liquor licenses, or they're putting a cap on gaming licenses. You know what? Anybody that wants to try to open a business in this city, no matter what it is, you should let them do it, because they're going to create jobs. They're going to create the turning of money. You know, like you'll see
If
different
they
people.
fail, it's not going to cost you
They'll
nothing.
cost you a penny. They gave you $2,000 for a liquor license.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of people, you see them make the comments. The biggest one I always see is like on some of these support local pages, like, oh, we don't need another Mexican restaurant, or we don't need this. You know what? You know how you get the best Mexican restaurants? You let everybody open them, and the shitty ones will fail.
You have
can't-
options.
You can't stop. Oh, we're good on Mexican restaurants. Let's not open anymore. Well, if the people that then had the Mexican restaurants are like, oh, okay, so we're good. We don't have to do a good job.
Yeah. Quality can no quality.
Yeah, I
comparisons. yeah.
And the person that's building a place, if I thought I had the best Mexican food in the city of Decatur, Do you think I'm not going to open a restaurant?
No shit.
So it's like,
Yeah.
just let people, like, it's
Yeah.
a free economy. Let anybody that wants to open anything do it. If it's legal, let them do it. I don't see why you would ever stop. I get it. We don't want 500 gaming parlors in Decatur. There's not gonna be. There is only a certain amount of gambling dollars in this city.
Right.
It doesn't change if you have twice the number of gaming facilities.
Right.
Like, if we could open 50 more bars in Decatur, and we're not all of a sudden going to have all these new alcoholics in the city. You just got the same amount of beer drinkers.
You're right. No, good point.
So
Good point. Oh yeah, you're saying if anything, you're showing favoritism to the people you did give these magic gold certificates to
so
can
like
have gaming.
If you can't change the number of people that want to gamble. You can't change the number of people that want to drink. You can't change the number of people that want to shop. You can't change the number of people that want to go out and eat dinner. What you can change is how many options they have.
Yep.
So you might as well, and if you're making money off of the more options, why wouldn't you?
There's a reason why these bigger towns that we visit, it goes bang, 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 bang. It's packed up.
Yeah.
They intentionally give you options.
Yeah, like, everybody does it in corporate America. Every McDonald's, there's a Hardee's next door to it. Do you think Hardee's doesn't even try?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, McDonald's is opening one over there. All right, we will too.
Yeah, it's because good pick.
Good pick. Yeah. Hey, thanks for doing all that legwork. Now we know the amount of customers you're going to get, and then we know the overflow that we'll get. Yeah. So we're fine with that number.
Walgreens, CVS, same
Walgreens,
thing.
CVS. Go to a mall. There's when there's one jewelry store, there's four of them.
Corner,
right?
There's another one.
Yeah. So it's like
that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
They all know they're not trying to get 100% of the business.
Right.
They know they can get.
And they got some of us who will come in and go, I want these shoes. And one of you suckers is going to have them a little bit cheaper.
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Somebody's going to have a sale or whatever.
You could have 100 places at our mall indicator that all sold shoes.
Yeah.
You think the amount of shoes that get sold on a daily basis is going to change?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You're right.
The only way that changes is if they have more stuff that's appealing to the city and you get the population to go up.
I was going to say, if you have more people working, there's more people with jobs working, have money to spend, economy boost. It kind of all.
It's a big, like I say too, like there's a lot of people that complain about the gaming parlors. But what I say is like, okay, my gaming parlor, I got 5 employees that work there. My employees might all go to a restaurant that you love. Well, if they get shut down or my place doesn't get open anymore, whatever happens, well, maybe that restaurant that you love is going to close down. So like, just think about it, man. Like,
that's really, really valid point.
So, I mean, just, you know what? If you don't like the place, don't go there. Nobody's holding you back. You don't have to.
But do you know how many places that you don't go? And
I
mean,
I got a complaint at Sliders one time. Somebody sent us a message and said, 1 star. Can't believe you got rid of. I don't even remember what the item was. It was like, can't believe you got rid of the jalapeno poppers.
Okay.
And I'm like, we got rid of those a year ago. Thanks for the repeat business.
Thanks for stopping it.
Yeah. It's like,
you didn't miss them that damn much, or you would have said this 11 months ago.
I say this all the time.
When we announced the menu change.
You'll see people make comments. Oh, I can't believe this place got rid of this item. It was my favorite. Like, I promise you, I have never taken something off of one of my menus that was a good seller.
Right.
I'm not like, oh, you know what? And people are fucking tearing up the tachos right now. We're going to yank them off the menu.
You didn't come by enough of them.
Yeah. It's like, there's a reason why, there's several items that I love that I'm like, I can't believe Kroger doesn't sell this anymore. And then I'm like, oh, I was probably the only one that bought it. So I understand it. Okay.
Like, fair enough.
It sucks that I love this one item and
Yeah.
nobody else did.
Yeah.
It's
It will all be okay.
it'll be okay. Yeah. You know,
That's funny though. Dude, your perspective on things is great, man. I mean, you're a you're a thinker. I dig it, man. I mean,
I'm trying to slow down.
I know. So what, last thing I want to get to is what is your plan? Like, I know you got stuff in the works. Jen's is going to open, keep everything else, try to get everything else you said kind of on a track to where you can step back a little bit, is there a plan?
Well, I've got 2 other projects that I'm kind of trying that I've had in the works for a while. One of them's a development, one of them's already existing, and I've kind of been consulting on that. So I'm trying to get those 2 finished up, and then that'll put me at a spot where I'll be at like 8 bars and restaurants.
Okay.
And then I'll have my, the barber shop, the meat shop, the JWE, and some of the other stuff, the track machine stuff. And my plan is to kind of just get all those dialed in.
You just named like 50.
I'll have 12. When these last 2 are done, I'll have 12 businesses.
Okay.
My kind of in my head, I'll turn 48 in February.
Okay.
So I want kind of all the development to be done by the time I'm 48. And it should be. I should be everything up and running, everything good to go. Then the next 2 years, I'm going to focus on everything I have. Like, I'm going to try to get everything perfect, whether it's, buying a new couch and a new TV at the gaming parlor and painting. Like, I want to get every business kind of just perfect.
Yeah.
To let it just coast for a while.
Yeah.
Not open any more places. Just, let it maintain, because when that starts to happen, then I can really my days get real easy. I won't have to do a whole lot here coming up. I can bounce around more and be seen at each location. I want to do the consulting. I want to start helping some people out, let other people start opening these businesses and let them get into it. And then, I've ordered a new set of golf clubs. I told myself I'm going to play some more golf next year. There was a lot of times it's
time for some self-care.
Yeah. More golf, more just, tinkering around on stuff at home. Try to do a little better on traveling.
Yeah. See a little bit more.
Yeah. And so in that, I'm kind of like when I talked to my banker and my advisor and stuff, I was like, how do I not necessarily retire, but how do I go to the next step? And so, they gave me all these questions for Jen and I to sit down and go over. Are we trying to sell everything and leave? Are we selling our house and leaving? Do we,
where you at?
Well, what's the plan? And, when you start answering those questions to yourself, you're like, well, we always want a home base here.
Yeah.
We always want something here because we're going to come back because a lot of friends. So it's like, okay, well, don't sell off everything. If you're going to be coming back,
you might as well
keep everything. So it's like, okay, don't. So then that gives me the direction to say, okay, I'm going to make sure all my places are perfect. Put the best thing out that we can give and dial each one in, and then I can just let them kind of coast. So that's kind of how it kind of transitioned over even this past year. I've been building towards, okay, get this one done. Like,
you've been planning for them 2 years to.
Yeah. So I'm ready to like I said, I know next year
take
then
a trip
I can hopefully,
that you don't know when you'll come back from.
Well, it was nice, like Jen and I were able to book a little vacation for a couple weeks from now, just because we're like, okay, we've got a little window here of about 5 days. Like,
did you go or you're going?
We're going.
Where are you going?
Cabo.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I mean,
dude, you deserve it, man.
Don't get me wrong. I know, and I'm blessed to be able to take a vacation to go to Cabo, but we kind of, we don't go all out.
Right.
I mean,
right.
We kind of, go to one of those websites. We're like, oh, we got a Black Friday deal.
Yeah.
And as long as it's still what we want, you can.
Yeah.
We take more trips because we kind of look at it and,
you could be bougie and you're not. That's awesome.
It's just, you get so much more out of just
There's a little excitement in finding the right deal.
oh yeah,
that
yeah,
you're-
yeah. We'll find a good deal, and
yeah.
we love to travel. So I mean, that's whenever we do go somewhere, we don't plan, we don't do excursions, we don't.
You just
So
go.
we'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
So I
let's
mean,
go.
and I think that's what helps the whole business side of it too. Is you don't
You got to decompress.
yeah. Well, in there's a lot of people that get, I think, definitely into this industry. I don't know if it's about all the other, but I think a lot of them get in there, and I think they think there's a kind of a role to play with maybe, I don't know, looking like a high roller, or, having all this. I mean, I see a lot of these owners that the minute they get into a bar and a restaurant, then
Got to flex a little
they got to flex, and they got to go out and buy this truck, and they start doing all this stuff, and I see so many people fail because it's like, look, man, like,
Yeah.
even on my first one, man, I was working 40 hours a week at the railroad, and I was sleeping in a chair at the bar trying to get, the business going. And
You're pulling up in a $1,200 a month truck.
yeah, like, I mean,
That didn't
I'm
make
fortunate
sense.
that I had nice vehicles, but my job at the railroad paid for that vehicle,
Right.
and,
Yeah.
even then I might not have.
You couldn't have done any of what you were able to even start without your job.
Oh,
without
absolutely.
Your job.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, it,
you just killed yourself.
Yeah,
which
I mean-
again is why it seems so sweet to be Woody, is because he has everything. But
you
you
know,
remember that he didn't
but
used to sleep.
I don't know. I think that, I mean, I wear warm-up pants and hoodies pretty much everywhere I go, and sandals.
You're
I mean,
comfortable.
I don't buy expensive clothing. I don't have expensive shoes.
What's comfortable and just go
Yeah.
with it. Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, you're not flashy.
I
man.
think when you can, that's what kind of makes it start to get really easy when you don't worry about all that. And I get the younger generations going through that because I did it.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to peacock out there and be the,
But you're like, if I'm putting on an act for the public, then this is going to take my whole life.
Oh, yeah.
We'll just go with this act.
yeah,
right
we'll just
here.
go with this and this, and I can, and after a while, people just,
Yeah.
oh, you're wearing, okay, of course you're wearing
Are
sandals.
your feet cold? Yep.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, of course you're wearing sandals.
Yeah.
Like, as long as I can build up that expectation to them. I mean, I go to weddings. I'll go to
Yeah.
these nice formal
Yeah.
weddings, and everybody's like, I figured you'd be in sandals, and I'm like, of course I am. And they
Yeah.
don't.
I figured you would be in
That,
dress shoes.
so that, I've established it to where everybody's like,
No big deal.
that's no big deal.
Yeah.
So that's perfect,
Yeah. I know that there's going to be at least 3
Yeah.
older gentlemen or ladies that are like,
Yep. And
Hey.
then somebody's like, oh, that's Woody.
Yeah,
He
yeah, yeah.
always wears sandals.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, no one stole his shoes.
Yeah,
He's
so-
fine. That's great, dude.
It,
That's a trip. Well, I appreciate you coming in and sitting down with me today.
yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. I'm just impressed that you have like a legit, like you map it out. Yeah, let me just say there's like self-analyzing going on when you were talking about like, man, I could really make things a lot easier if I would follow the lead. You know what I mean? We don't do
Yeah.
the same thing by any means, but like time management and I think planning and you seem like you're not working anymore. You kind of they say you're not working if you enjoy it or whatever. I know you're.
Oh,
working.
I would absolutely tell
But-
people that I love this. Like, everybody says, oh, if you work all these hours, you never get to enjoy, your life. And
You're like
I'm
false.
like false.
I
Yeah.
love it.
I mean, I love there are, I've got a ton of employees between all the different locations, and I feel like I've had different experiences and things we've gone through with most of these employees, whether it's a tragedy that they've dealt with, or,
Built
maybe we've
families,
lost
man.
someone, or, like we've all been there together, and, everybody's, you hear them all the time. Oh, the 40 hours a week, you can't work your life away. And I'm like, man, even when I was at the railroad, like, I love those guys that I worked with.
Yeah, it wasn't
You
terrible.
know, it wasn't terrible.
Maybe you should think about where you work.
Yeah,
if that's how you
like,
feel.
if that's how you feel, like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was working. Some days it would suck at the railroad, but man, we're
Yeah.
we're taking a train to St. Louis to
Yeah.
goofing around the whole freaking time anyway. So it's just the same about like, building all these memories with all these people. Like, I don't think any of them would rather have it any other way either. So
Right.
depends. I mean,
Create a working atmosphere that
Yeah.
turns into a lifestyle. And
yeah,
and-
I mean,
bring your kids into the restaurant for when you're
oh,
off.
yeah,
And
like
let's
almost every one of my employees knows that if they got kids or grandkids, if shit happens,
on.
man, bring them on in.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to be there. You can't bring your kids to work.
right.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
shit happens.
Yeah. We all
You
know
know,
that it's not a
we're-
daycare, and
yeah.
you hate it more than anyone.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Trust me, I know you did not want to bring
Yeah.
your kids or grandkids in there. You were hoping to get away from them for the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
you
don't know
know,
what to
I
tell
mean,
you.
again, like
Yeah.
and just like the the different relationships I've built with the partners and the other owners. Like when we go through the development of these businesses, man, you just you really get to know them more. And
Yeah.
I've had some guys that like Nate and I at the barber shop, man, like he's just such a hard worker. He really impressed me. He's always worked his ass off his
Yeah.
whole life. And when he was bartending, trying to earn a little extra, and I got to know him that way. And he was a barber working at Lockhart's, and we got talking, and I was like, man, I got that extra unit down at the end of the strip here, like we could put a barber shop in, man. We could talk about it. And he's like, I'm good right now. And a couple months later, he was like, you serious about that? And I was like, yeah, let's talk about it. So,
Yeah.
Come up with a business plan, looked at everything, and he was like, I'm in. And then like, dude,
It fell into place there.
yeah, and like anything, like what every day, what do we got to get done? He was first one there, man. Like,
It's good.
I mean, we're putting in lights, painting walls, doing floor, and I mean, I'm just using him as an example because I've got great people everywhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can just, when
Sounds like you're just. I mean, it's hard to build a big team that is good, but man, it seems like
yeah.
the more you grow, the bigger your team gets.
Oh
and
yeah, and they're
the
all,
better
I got
it gets.
such
and
great employees.
I'm sure your turnover is not
Minimal.
very much.
I mean,
yeah,
Minimal.
Yeah.
I mean, you hate to lose them, but at the same time, I encourage
Life
everybody to
happens.
go because
or if they grow.
I'm a bar and a restaurant. Unfortunately, I wish I could pay every one of my employees,
Yeah,
a ton of money, but
yeah,
people get mad when I'm charging $14 for a sandwich and a side. I mean,
Yeah, I
look,
know.
I'm trying to keep it a level thing. So like if somebody
Yeah.
ever comes to me and is like, hey man, like I've got an opportunity to go here and make $30 an hour with benefits. I'm like,
we're having a
dude,
going away party
I'm
for
gonna,
you.
yeah, I'm gonna miss you, man. You better come back and see me. Like
For sure.
I have never told anybody like,
Don't do better.
don't do better.
Yeah, that's
like
ridiculous.
I wish
It's
I could,
selfish.
I wish I could be the one giving you that money,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah,
it's just not there.
it's not realistic.
So, that's about the only time I lose somebody.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you can't be mad on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're moving or you're
Yeah.
Moving up.
Moving up or going to get another career job. I
Yeah.
get it, man. I mean,
Yeah. life happens.
life happens. And you
But
gotta
yeah,
go
it
to
seems
the
like
next
what
level.
I would say is, yeah, you managed to keep the people who are there happy. I don't know really anyone that's worked in any of your places that's like, that sucked,
Yeah.
unless work just sucks because they don't want to work. And
Well,
that's you gotta
you
go.
know.
You do got to go to work sometimes.
Yeah.
But,
We
um,
usually keep it pretty laid back.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, you're killing it, dude, and it seems like I'm now anxious to see what the spot's gonna. I don't go do a lot of drinking, but I do want to go try that food. I want to try this turbo oven pizza thing at
Yeah.
or whatever that I want to
It's
try.
good.
I want to hit
It's good
Vivo's, and
stuff.
I'm anxious to see what Jen's is like. I know she's got to be excited about that too.
yeah, she is.
Yeah.
She's going to kind of take over running Woodies and Jen's.
Okay.
Since they're both right out there. She's
Yeah.
going to kind of just handle those. The other 4 that I've got that are already just cruising are pretty simple. So I'll focus on these last
Yep.
couple, here over the next couple months, just kind of get them squared away and put to bed. And then,
That is so cool.
even one of them, is, I had one idea that I was going to go with that was kind of me, doing a lot of the work and
Yeah.
everything. And as I'm starting to think about slowing down and all this, I got lucky and somebody kind of jumped in and was like, hey, I'll partner up with you and I'll do all the food. And I'm like, let's do it. Perfect.
Yes.
Now I can, this project just got so much easier and I can really slow down from it. And then this last one that is bigger and I'm consulting on, hopefully it's just kind of an easy switch over and get it going. And
well, it seems like everything you touch just is doing good, man. I mean, that's good. Yeah, I mean, it's hard work is paying off, and it's great. But I won't keep you here much longer. Again, I really do appreciate you coming and sitting down. That was anybody who listens to it that is, hopefully, if they were in the mindset of doing something as far as opening a business here in town, then they just learned something for sure. I mean, it's one of those, and there's people out there that know exactly what they're getting into.
Oh yeah.
But
some of them, yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying it's hard you can't put a business plan together for an unforeseen future and events. So, and you seemed, like I said, that, you're not a flashy dude, and you're humble, you're cool as hell to talk to the public, to your customers. And I think that's the main reason for your continued success, is you're at the point now where your expectation is, if you put your stamp on it, it better hit.
Yeah.
And so that too.
Yeah.
Because like you said,
pressure
we're
on
based
myself.
on
I'm like,
return customers. Yeah. If you don't go here, then I need you to go here or here. And if not, why not?
Yeah. Yeah. Why aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd we do? I get it. If you say you wanted some Crawford's pizza, me too. Give me some of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me know how it is.
Yeah. But I do appreciate you coming, and I'll definitely, if this thing keeps going, then I'll be asking you to come back just to keep an eye on your plan. It sounds like you're on track for some cool stuff that you already got going. Hell, you got more things than I even knew. I'm glad I didn't try to get into that intro. I'd have had to read a book. Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'm trying to come up with an easy way to remember everything.
That's great. Yeah.
So I'm like, can I use the first letter of everything and come up with something? Or
you're to a sentence now.
Yeah.
You have to come up with a few short words.
Gather around, fam, we just having some fun. Beyond business, it's a vibe, feel that thrill, getting intimate. May even get your heart filled, meeting the legends, those raw and real. Digging deep thoughts, show you how to feel. From the block to the boardroom, we making that move. Beyond business, baby, yeah, we got the groove. Shout out to the hustlers, the real street thugs. We all eat together, no need for the drugs. Yeah, you blessed with the gift, determined to thrive. Nick's breaking it down, keeping that fire alive. Let's go deep like the ocean, no bluff. Beyond business, baby, we can't get enough.